We all know that nonprofits do a lot of important work and they support the community. But during the pandemic, that was really difficult for a lot of folks to do. However, they are back up and running now, and those nonprofits are trying to raise awareness for all of their great causes. And our guest started the Do-Gooders Conference to help them do exactly what the title says, do gooder.
Yeah.
And we have Patrick Kirby in with us from Do Good Better Consulting talking about this conference. Patrick, welcome. Let's just explain what this is and how we can all do gooder.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. So the Do Gooders Conference is the third annual Do Gooders Conference, and it's a gathering of ideas and speakers and musicians this year who are going to try to motivate and rekindle that can-do attitude that the nonprofit world has. And after a long time doing a pandemic shuffle, it's how to pivot back and what do you need to do to kind of keep the momentum going. What shifts do you need? And so we put on a giant show, and so this is our third annual. It's outdoors, it's in person, it's a bring your own lawn chair and blanket.
BYOL?
Yeah.
BYOLC?
Come on in. It's like a festival-like feel with all of the fun stuff we have. We've got 15 speakers, we've got 8 musicians, we've got food from Heart and Soul Community Cafe, Thunder Coffee. We got an ice cream truck. I'm bringing an ice cream truck in.
Who doesn't love an ice cream truck?
So it's going to be really fun.
Okay, so right now on your screen, if people are looking at it, 15 speakers, you got some of them on there. What are some of the topics that they're going to be covering?
Right, well, some of the really tricky stuff to talk about in the nonprofit world, but we're going to do it in a setting that's really fun. So talking about pay in the nonprofit world, right? So people who are working in the nonprofit field really need they deserve pay, right? We're going to talk about how giving days have shifted and what the importance on what giving days should be. And if they are currently, we're going to talk about racial equity. We're going to talk about self-care. We're going to talk about how to close if you're a nonprofit leader. All sorts of stuff we're going to talk about, and it's going to be really, really, really fun.
Yeah, and those are all topics that for people, whether you are in a nonprofit yourself or maybe you just like to volunteer for your church or whatever cause you have that is near and dear to your heart, and you're trying to help them raise some funds or start a campaign with something that they want to do. So
exactly. So if you're a nonprofit leader, if you're a board member, if you're a volunteer, if you're a general do-gooder, you've got a business that has a giving policy that you want kind of rekindled, this is a great conference to get all sorts of information and meet so many more people. And then it's really just getting everybody at one place to sort of say, hey, we all made it. We deserve to celebrate a little bit, and then what can we do to help each other raise a lot more money, make a lot more impact in the community.
And so how has, just kind of briefly, things changed with the pandemic? I mean, we went from, you had all these galas in person, all of this other stuff. I meet for coffee with people, and then it just like one day, shut down, done. And it didn't go on for a very long time after. And now I think everyone's trying to figure out how to do things again.
Right, yeah, I think the nonprofit world did such a wonderful job of making a pivot, and those organizations that kind of kept the momentum going and talking with their donors, and they did really, really well. But now what do you do, right? So you come out of the pandemic and people are really kind of, even still now today, a little bit nervous about getting together in big spaces. And then what do you do? Have you thanked your donors properly? Have you connected with them since the pandemic? You probably saw an influx of donations. Well, what did you do with it? What sort of impact did you make in the community? Have you conveyed that? Do you have a game plan? And a lot of organizations are probably looking to say, what next? And that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish here, is to get everybody in one place to share ideas and share momentum and share enthusiasm about all things doing good.
And I think that is a great point. You said, what next?
Yeah.
I think that is the one big question that so many organizations or even just people have personally about what they might be trying to do of, okay, well, I've done this. I kind of have a feeling of where I want to go, but how do I get there?
Right, and there's no playbook for this, right? Nobody's written a playbook on what to do after the pandemic, what to do next. And so we're all learning together at the same time. We're all trying to figure it out. We're all trying to support each other. We're all trying to figure out, well, this organization did really well, but we don't have that kind of size and scale and scope. How do we do something like that? That's what this conference was for. And we started it about 3 years ago because I had gotten really tired of going to a conference, and you hear all these amazing speakers, right? And you're super motivated and you're super jacked up to kind of take over the world. and you go back to your desk and you open up your email and nothing that you were motivated by is actually in your inbox. And you're like, I don't know what to do. So we really made a very purposeful curation of this event to have tangible things you can do to move the needle forward. And that's really what we wanted this event to be.
That is so nice, yeah, because all of these grandiose ideas, you're like, yeah, that's awesome if I can dedicate an entire team 24/7 to work on this, but I can't. So what are we going to do?
Right, and you might not, if you're a small or medium-sized nonprofit, which is the majority of them in this area, is you don't have a team of 12. You don't have 5 fundraisers, 2 back-end specialists, 1 lead. Like, you don't have that. So what do? How can you compartmentalize some of the things that you need to do in order to move the needle forward with a small staff? And then you're going to have a lot of those topics covered today.
I love that.
Their event next week.
And so, yeah, let's just talk about that. When is it? How long? All that sort of good jazz.
It is Tuesday, July 13th. Doors open at 1. Everything starts at 2 o'clock. And it goes until about 9:30. It's an all-day outdoor event. It's going to be super fun. We're going to have music acts in between all the speakers. So every 30 minutes, we're going to switch from a speaker to a music artist. And those artists include like a variety of songs. And we wanted to share not only a diversity of speakers and a diversity of perspectives and a diversity of topics, but a diversity of entertainment too. So we've got opera, we've got country, we've got hip hop, we've got heavy metal. We've got a private concert from Andrina Brogdon, who you might remember, who was the golden ticket winner from American Idol out of Minneapolis, from Fargo. She's getting her band, and we're having a private concert with her.
Nice.
At the end of the show.
I was just going to say, I was reading it and I was like, why do I remember that name?
Yes.
What was that name from? Yes, you are right. And I see a lot of familiar Mayor Carlson of Moorhead, former Mayor Delray Williams, Mariah Prussia. She's been on our show. She's really great to hear as well. So, yeah, so many great things. And do we need tickets for this at the door, ahead?
Yep, you can get tickets right now at, you go to dogoodersconference.com. You can go to Eventbrite. They've got tickets up there. You can find us on Facebook. Tickets start at $75 if you want to go virtually, $150 at the door, but that's inclusive. You get all your food and your drinks and your ice cream and everything, whatever you want. Yeah. It's all in one place, and then you get all your speakers and your musicians.
Entertainment as well.
Yeah,
cheaper than going out to eat, that's for sure.
Absolutely it is.
All right, Patrick, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Coming up here on today's show, we all love to get outside during the summer, but it can create some risk. Tips to keep you and your family safe right after the break.